Hello, welcome to Adventures in Pop episode 23, would you believe it? And let me just say you're looking utterly lovely today, and well, welcome along. We are going to talk today a little bit about videos, and I'm going to just go back in time and share with you a series of videos that I made right at the very beginning of my career, in inverted commas, as I started out in this new adventure. So stand by, we're going to get straight into it. Well, first thing to say is, I guess when I started out, being a musician and thinking about pop songs, way back when I was, collaborating with my mate, we were writing songs together. It never occurred to us that when you released a song, you needed a video. Videos were things that successful bands had. That spent, record companies spent fortunes with a huge budget making big videos that involved, entire streets full of people dancing together and etc. etc. And there were some brilliant videos. You go back and think about your favourite videos from yesteryear. A lot of money was pumped into the video because they were so integral. But for an independent musician, that just wasn't possible. You didn't hire a crew and a bunch of dancers and make a video. But even by 2017, so we're talking 4 years ago, when I kind of kicked off, my new career, as I say, in inverted commas, it was kind of obvious that you did need some kind of video. And I remember having, almost an argument with the person who actually helped me with my early videos, where I was saying, look, doesn't matter, you can just record it on an iPhone and it'll be good enough. And he was saying, I really don't think so. Are you crazy? Now, actually, as it turns out, I think I was right about this, because virtually all my videos have been, a combination of iPhone and then latterly iPhone plus bits and pieces that I've found online that I'm allowed to use with no kind of copyright restrictions. And I'm going to talk about them on a different occasion. But right back at the beginning, I hadn't found things online. I hadn't found those resources. And, I think everything is changing still very quickly about how to make a video when you basically have no budget and you just want to have something that will represent your music in some way. So in those early days, and I'm thinking particularly about 2017, there were 4 tracks very early on in my career where my filmmaker, the person I just had an argument with, who actually then directed these 4 videos with me, for me. Well, we set out basically to make 4 bits of film. They had no bits of, they were not, pick and mix where we could slide in some nice resources, as I say, from online, fabulous sites where you can just take what you want. So we made 4 videos that were basically live. They were me, and they had, I put the backing track on, but it was me being filmed. And here was the thing. We decided that we would make 4 videos that would have a similar theme. And actually, when I look back at them now, I think they're rather funny. I don't think they were meant to be at the time. I think they were meant to be powerful and, solemn and meaningful, profound. But actually, I look back at them now and I think we must have had a sense of humour. We must have even thought at the time that these were actually quite amusing. So, I could ask you, what does Hampstead Heath, Dungeness, down in the tube station at midnight, at Holland Park tube station, when the night tube had just kicked off, so we could go down there at about 1 o'clock in the morning, actually, and the car park of Tesco's have in common? There's a question. 4 videos, and those are 4 locations that we used to make these videos. And I'm going to show you bits of all 4 of them as we go along. And I'll do them in order because, honestly, we had a laugh doing them, even though, as I say, they were very serious and profound videos that we were making. So here were the rules that we established. In each video, I was going to wear exactly the same clothes, and I did. those clothes were going to be basically a suit. I only have one, so I had to kind of drag it out and make sure it didn't just look like a total mess. And a white shirt but no tie, and my glasses. So suit, white shirt, open neck, glasses, and okay, so that was what I was going to wear. What was I going to do? I was just going to stand there. I wasn't allowed to move. I wasn't allowed to walk about, I should say. I was allowed to move my head, if I remember rightly. Even that probably took some persuasion. And I wasn't allowed to smile. I wasn't allowed to look at the camera. And nor was I allowed to mime the words of the song, which is actually a good thing. So there was no pretense at, singing my song. I just looked very solemn and miserable, actually. And sometimes I stared at the ground. Okay, so you've got a bit of a sense there of, kind of the... Oh, and there was one other very important rule. Okay, well, I didn't have to do anything, but Timothy, who was actually videoing, he was the man in charge here, and I was really just taking instructions. What he did with his iPhone, or maybe he was using my iPhone, I can't remember, I think he was using mine. What he did was to start a little bit in front of me, but then gradually he would just walk backwards past my face. So you always got kind of a shot of the side of my face as he went past, and then he would just walk backwards for sometimes, yards and yards. I mean, a long way backwards. So I would stay still, and then what you would see is that I would just get smaller and smaller and smaller, as he moved away, and that was basically the video. Yeah. I know what you're thinking. What on earth were you thinking? Well, it was quite funny. So the first of these, back in June of 2017, filmed on Hampstead Heath, was Goodnight Teresa. Let's have a look at a little bit of this. And it is quite amusing. So it kicks off, there we are, I'm on Hampstead Heath. You can't see me yet because remember the camera is going to come past, that's it, past my ear, me looking solemn in glasses. Oh, and I'm looking a bit suntanned there because I just got back from a holiday in Greece. There we are, the slightly ill-fitting suit, the white shirt, staring off into the middle distance as the camera moves rather unsteadily backwards down the hill. And if I just cut towards the end of this video, I'm going to unceremoniously just take us towards the end. What you see here is, well, what you almost don't see is me. I am there, but I'm right at the back, still standing still. And another rule of these videos, no other living person was allowed to be seen, so I always had to be alone in the landscape. Okay, so that is the first one. Now I need to tell you just a little bit about one other thing that happened on this evening. This was a lovely summer evening. It was quite late on. I drove both of us up to Hampstead Heath, parked in a car park. We did what we needed to do on Hampstead Heath here. By the time we got back to the car park was locked. So I think we had to get a cab home, and then the next morning I had to get another cab back to the car park to get my car out. So that was a real pain in the arse, but it was part of the hilarity of making that very first video for Goodnight Teresa, which, as I'm looking at now, I think about 380 people have seen it. So millions and millions of people, billions of people have never seen it. So I jolly well think they should do. Okay, not much later. Let's go back. Let's have a look at dates here. I like to be, accurate with you about some of the events that took place here. So the next one, number 2 in this series, was in September of the same year, 2017. Again, it's been watched by a similarly few number of people, and this one this one was a real no expense spared, drive off into the wilderness. We went to Dungeness at the bottom of Kent. Now, I don't know if you know Dungeness. It is an extraordinary landscape. It is basically a landscape of, pebbles, but in the background, and it's by the sea, in the background you've got these kind of, one colossal power station that just dominates the landscape, and it just makes it look like you're on the moon or some distant planet, or you're just lost in, I don't know, it's just another world. It doesn't look like you're in any part of Britain. It is truly weird. So it's a really great location to do something. I think you could probably do anything there and it's going to look, immensely powerful. So let's have a look at a little bit of this one. This was a video for a track on the first album, Circle Line, that I didn't release as a single. I'm not even quite sure, quite what I thought I was doing, except I did want to make the video, and I did release a video on YouTube. It's been there for, as I say, a few years. It was September 2017. The track was I Said Yes. So about halfway through the album of Circle Line, you will find a track called I Said Yes. I do like this song. And it's quite an upbeat song, which makes it even more ridiculous that I was just standing in my suit with my white shirt on the beach, on the pebbles of Dungeness that go for miles and miles and miles in the, in the shadow of this power station, looking gloomy to this very upbeat number. Let's have a little look at I Said Yes. So again, off we go. There's a bit of power station in the background. You can see what a kind of, a moonscape this blooming is. It's really strange. And there's my ear again as we come past. Same shirt, actually it's a slightly different shirt, but still white. Rest of my suit, and oh, what a frown on my face. I'm certainly looking extremely moody. And as we had before, the camera is backing away slightly, unsteadily, but there's really no chance that anybody else is going to kind of, crash this video, because basically there is nobody there. And boy, it's so weird. Love is strange, a mystery. It's invisible, so you can see. And again, like I did last time, I'm going to just move it along to the end. Obviously, I invite you to go and listen to the songs or go and watch the videos, in your own time. You'd be so welcome. But let's have a look towards the end. How far away have I become when we get towards the end of the track? So suddenly, here we are in the last sort of 45 seconds of the track. You can hardly see me now. Yes, I am there in the middle of the picture, sort of veering to the right and the left. I think the idea was that, the camera might be quite unsteady, but I was never allowed to actually not be in the frame somewhere. But I am timely by now, and really I'm just lost in this moonscape of strangeness. So there we go. I said yes. So that was September 2017. The next one in this glorious series was at Holland Park tube station. So this was now about 3 or 4 weeks later. And for this, we went to Holland Park, which is not far away from where I live. We wanted to go to a tube station that was like a traditional tube station where you had to really go underground. And obviously with the event of Night Tube, I think we went obviously on a Friday or a Saturday night at about 1 o'clock in the morning, knowing that we had access then to get to the platform. We had no intention of getting on any train. And in fact, when we got down there, we could look at the train monitor that tells us when a train is due, and find a gap that was going to be long enough for us to video the whole song, the whole video, where no train would come in and we would see no passenger. And lo and behold, I think it took us a couple of minutes for us to get to a gap of about, the next train was signalled to be coming to us in about 8 minutes' time. So off we went. Now, it's kind of weird because we had to get into the tube station, get past the barrier, and I'm sure we both had our Oyster cards down to the platform. I'm sure they could see on closed circuit television two idiots on the platform doing weird things, and one of them just standing there looking really miserable. But no questions were asked, and when we finished, we just went back up to street level and went home. So now this was a video. Again, it's a track from the first album. This was a video for This Is a Love Song. Now this is my miserable leaving Europe Brexit song. So it was meant to be miserable and not too hard for me to carry off the miserableness. So let's have a look at this one. This, as I say, this is the third in this series of 4. Again, note, suit, white shirt, camera coming past my, my ear. It's good to have, a famous ear, isn't it? So here we go. Let's have a look at this. This is a slightly longer song. So this obviously required a slightly longer video, which meant that the camera had to go a little bit slowly backwards down the platform, and obviously be a little bit careful not to slip over the edge of the platform onto the train, onto the rails. Oh, it's at my other ear this time, but there we go. Glasses, white shirt, my jacket, looking so miserable. And I remember I do sort of slightly turn in this video, so an enormous climax of the action. I turn and I just stare at the ground wanly. Oh, there we go, a little turn of the head. And you can see, some of the colour has been taken out of this film, so it just looks a little bit washed out. And it's odd because there I am on a tube station platform, nobody's there, no train comes, and I just stand there. I was very excited about this song at the time because it was quite complicated. It needs a whole new remix, I suspect. So again, let's just wind along to the end and let's see how far away I am by the time we get to about, the 4 minutes or so of the 5 minutes of this song. Oh, look, there I am. Oh, you might recognise this little bit of music, because this is where I took my little theme music for the Adventure series, which you're probably incredibly tired of hearing. Here it is. And look, there I am at the other end of the platform, virtually camouflaged, against the wall in black and white. You can hardly see me at all. You've got to look quite carefully. And as you can tell, I'm not doing anything other than just staring. It was, it's a tough gig to play for me, obviously, no singing, just staring. Lovely. And fourth and finally, but the fourth one was recorded in the car park underneath my local Tesco superstore. And I think we went on a Sunday morning knowing that the car park would be open, but I don't think they'd actually started trading yet. So the car park is empty. And I think we were lucky. I think literally, within couple of minutes of us finishing, people were starting to arrive to get their Sunday shopping in. So this one is a video for another track from that very first album, Circle Line. This one's called Strange Fingers. It's a jolly good track. Not released as a single, so I'm not really quite sure why I chose it. But, over time, most of the tracks of that first album have ended up with a video. I think there was a very amateurish video that I made on my own for AI, another track on that album. And there was a more complicated video made for Gypsy. But actually on this on that first album, I didn't release any singles. I don't think I wasn't really quite sure what to do with with the album that I released. I mean, I have become obviously more sophisticated about the whole marketing aspect of this whole adventure, and you blooming well have to be, because otherwise, you could make the most wonderful music in the world and nobody would know about it. So, part of what I'm doing here is just kind of showing the progress of the videos over time, because the videos are an essential kind of tool that you've got to take quite seriously to promote the music that you're making. So this is the fourth and the final one. And in fact, I'll leave you with this. This is going to be, we'll play out with this fourth and final video, and I'll obviously, again, wish you a lovely, lovely day, a lovely summer indeed. I hope you're enjoying football and staying away from trouble and lockdowns, whatever part of, the country or the world that you are watching this from, and you're always incredibly welcome. And if you're enjoying this, do subscribe, do follow, do press all those buttons and like and leave your comments, and I'll always do my very best to reply. So do get involved. I love that. So fourth and final video, and again you will notice all the same hallmarks: suit, white shirt, glasses, walking backwards, I stay still, looking miserable. What more could you ask? And on that note, I will leave you with a little bit, not the whole lot, but a little bit of Strange Fingers from that first album, and the fourth and the last in this series of really quite bonkers videos. Thank you and good day. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Looking for a place to hide. You just smiled and said, come inside. Strange fingers, soft skin. Oh my God, this is some ship I'm in. Oh my Lord, this is some ship I'm in. Place to go, no questions asked, no yes, no no. Strange fingers, soft skin, I breathe out as you breathe in. I breathe out as you breathe in. And I don't wanna spend the night. I just stopped the traffic light.